Hello, friends. How is everyone doing? I hope you're doing great. This is so exciting. I've been waiting to do this for a while now. We're going to do a little technique that I love doing, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about it first because I've seen this technique done a billion times, and I've been doing it for a very long time myself. But I never hear people really talk about it. So let's talk about it just for a quick minute while my little iron heats up. So we're going to be making glassine paper and glassine bags and glassine stuff today. And we're going to be using beeswax. And it's called encaustic painting. That's what we're doing. We're encaustic painting. Now, most of the time when the videos I see on this, they, are labeled like mine, making glassine paper, glassine bags, but it's actually encaustic painting. Even though there's no pigment in the beeswax or the candle or whatever, it's still encaustic painting. So if you have beeswax, you can get this at a craft store. You can get it on Amazon. I love the way it smells. It's pure beeswax, but you can use oil. I should turn on my iron. You can use oil-based wax, like an oil pastel, like I know a lot of people use that for encaustic painting. So we're doing the encaustic technique. I guess it still is encaustic painting, whichever way you put it, but we're doing it as a technique today. We're not going to make pictures. So I don't know if you know much about encaustic, but it's very interesting to me while this is heating up. And I'm just using this tiny little craft iron mainly because this is my encaustic iron. I use it for just this. It's very small, I know, but it heats up hot enough to do the job, and also it doesn't have any holes. And we're just doing small surfaces, so it's plenty big. I do have a bigger craft iron, but it's really actually a regular iron. It has big holes in it, and I don't want to use it for this because I will be putting this right onto the wax. So I'm just using this guy. He does get hot, but he takes a second to heat up. And I just got in here, so I'm going to let him heat up for a minute, and while he's heating up, I'm going to tell you about encaustic painting. Not a ton, just stuff that I researched, and I've really been interested in this for a long time. So I knew a little bit, and I just wrote a little bit down. And I'm sure if you look it up, you'll find out all these facts too. But it's just really interesting. So where do I start? So encaustic is also called hot wax painting. And the word encaustic literally means to burn in. Okay, so it was started out as beeswax. Also encaustic painting can be traced back like the oldest encaustic painting I think that was recorded was back in like ancient Egypt. It was, I thought I wrote it down somewhere. The ancient, where is it? I wrote it somewhere because I want to tell you guys. I don't know if I wrote it. It was like the Romano-Egyptians. It was like the Fayum mummy portraits, I think it was. You should look it up. It's really, really cool. But yeah, it's like way back. That was like 100 to 300 AD. So we're talking, this is nothing new. This has been done for a long time. And then in the 17th century, it was like the most common, I think was it the 17th century? Yeah, it was like the most common technique in Greek and Roman paintings. I found my notes. So yeah, it was very common technique in ancient Greek and Roman paintings. That's what I wrote down. It was most commonly used on wood and still is today, but you can also do it on canvas, paper, whatever you want to do it on. But it did originate, I think it originated on wood. So it's just very, very interesting to me anyways. And if you look up some of these, if you look up encaustic painting, like dig deep into it and see some of the some of the old paintings, it's incredible. It's really incredible what people do. And even painters now that are like, I saw some really cool ones. I can't name them. I'm not a name dropper, but like some really cool ones in the 90s that just some of the paintings people do by putting the pigment into the wax and actually making paintings out of it. It's incredible. Okay, so I'm a nerd. In case you didn't know, I'm a big fat nerd. Oh gosh, thank you, internet. So I thought we'd try different like surfaces just to see what's up, right? Let me see where my boundaries are so I don't get out of the way. And I hope the lighting's good. I didn't even test it because, I'm just, winging I'm winging it. It's super late and I'm just going to wing it. So I'm going to move you a little bit. There we go. So I'm just going to try different things. Now there are two techniques I want to try. The way I usually do it, which is just by putting the iron right onto it. And obviously if you're going to do this, use caution. And you can watch me do it, watch other videos just to see how other people do it. I do know Firefly Studio did a video, and she does it a different way, and we're going to try that too, hopefully, if we have time. I don't want to take all night doing this. I know my videos can be long, and some people complain about it. And it's not that I just want to please the complainers. I just, you know, I'm hoping to make shorter videos. I'm just checking my light, you guys, because I did realize that I didn't check it at all, so I just want to make sure we're good to go. So, oopsie, oh boy, now my whole system's falling over. Hold on, I'm sorry, there we go. My light started falling over. So sorry I'm wobbling you, let me just fix you up. There we go, I think that's better, hopefully. So we're going to try it on different, this thing doesn't want to stand up ever though, it just falls right over. So we're going to try it on different surfaces. So one thing about this, I do wish I had the smaller beads, like I said, because a little goes a long way. So you don't want to use too much. And, you know, you don't want to get, like if you use this iron, you don't want to get it inside of that, or any iron. You know, I don't want it to puddle up, because that's what happens when it melts. It does turn into a little puddle, and you don't want to just carelessly do this and have it melting inside of your iron. That probably isn't safe. So just use caution if you're going right onto it like we're going to do. And what else can I say? So we're going to try it on different types of paper. Let me set myself up here. I probably should have did this before, but so I'm just going to grab a little bit out. Oh, and wait till you smell this, you guys. It is the best smell in the entire universe. If you're using beeswax, it smells like heaven. So the reason I usually, okay, first we're going to try it on a baker's bag. Now, I always buy baker's bags, and the difference is between a glassine bag, obviously, is a baker's bag isn't as see-through. And the reason I like to buy baker's bags instead of glassine bags is because I have the option to make it glassine if I want, or I can have it just white like this, and I can use my dyes, my paints, my jelly plate, and it'll show up, you know, better. So I like having that option. You know, it's there if I need it or whatever. So we're going to try it on this. And then I thought we'll try some. Now I know these are already a little bit see-through, but I want to see how glassine we can get them. I guess that's maybe the point here. And see how, if this wax makes these actually see-through and glassine-like, right? So we're going to try different things. So this is tissue paper, obviously, but it's thicker. It's for some reason, Hobby Lobby has like the thickest tissue paper. It's almost got a coating on it. It probably does have a coating on it. I could feel it. But we're going to, as you can see, you can't really even see my fingers back there. So we're going to try it on these different types of tissue papers. I just have a few, and see, you know, how see-through we can get them. This is a Tim Holtz kind. You can see through that pretty good, but I want to try to get it glass-like. I don't know if it's going to work, because I usually just do this, I usually use this on my baker's bags, and then I also use it if I'm doing like ephemera. Like say I have this little, okay, say I have this little envelope. By the way, this is Tracy Fox. Isn't it gorgeous? This is the patchwork something. But anyways, it's Tracy Fox. It's beautiful. So it's just a little handmade envelope. So say I put like this on here, you know, just a Tim Holtz piece of ephemera on there, and then I take a piece of wax or two and I'll melt it on there, and it's just a really cool technique. I know Lori does that, Girl on the Ridge, and she has a lot of videos doing it. It's just really fun. So that's usually what I use it for, these two things, but I haven't tried it on all these different substrates here, so we're going to try it. So we'll try it on this. Is regular copy paper that has been through an inkjet printer, so we'll see how that turns out. Then this is regular thin, not construction paper. Why can't I think right now? This always happens to me. It's just regular paper. Scrapbook paper, thank you. And then this is an old book page from a Reader's Digest book, so we'll see how that looks. And then I do want to try it on a napkin, but I'm a little bit worried about the napkin, so we might try my second technique on that. and which is just going to be, instead of using the iron directly onto it, we're going to put a piece of parchment paper over it and then melt it through that. It might be a little safer for something like this because this is really thin and I'm not sure how it's going to hold up. Of course, once the air hits it and it dries, it hardens, so that makes me feel a lot safer, but while it's really wet, I don't know how it's going to react to something this thin. And also, it's like so thin when you take the second layer off. First, I want to try it with the second layer on, and then I want to try it with no layer on. So we're going to try a couple things. The other ones I do have is, this is wax paper already. Now the coating kind of feels gone a little bit, but doesn't that look cool? So this is going to be a spoiler alert. Eventually, soon, hopefully, we're going to do a little video I've been practicing for, which is going to be called Making Our Own Tissue Paper for decoupage. So how to make your own tissue paper for decoupage. So I mean, I look at all my gorgeous tissue paper and I think, oh my gosh, I want to make some of my own. So I started working on some little wax paper squares. I have them over here. But anyways, that's not what this video is about, Meg. Get on with it. So anyways, I want to see what it looks like, because this is wax paper already, but it's been treated obviously with oxides and water and stuff. So now that that's all dry, I want to see if we can wax it up again and see if it gets more see-through. And then we just have some more scrapbook paper in different shades, because I want to see, you know, if the, obviously the shades are going to affect what it looks like. And then this is just copy paper. This is from Medieval Mirage, the print, through the inkjet. This is the only really thick paper that we have here, and this is on Epsom Premium Presentation Paper, double-sided, and it's very thick. It's the best printing paper for a good price, because this really good printing paper can be really costly, and I learned about this paper from Gail, and she is right. It is great. I actually got 100 pieces for under $20, which was an amazing sale on Amazon. I don't know, it's probably over because it was a minute ago, but the first time I bought it, I got 50 pieces for like 16 bucks. So that deal, if it's still going on, you might want to check it out if you're looking for some good printer paper. This is sidetrack alert all the time, right? Excuse me. This is parchment paper, not the kind you use for cooking. It's the kind that you use for printing and invitations and stuff. So, yeah, so it's just got that look to it, the little creamy kind of look. It's a little thinner, but thicker than, it's thin paper, but it's thicker than regular copy paper, and it's creamy colored. So we'll try that out, just some thin music. And yes, I wanted to see what it looks like on some old Simplicity sewing paper. See how clear we can get that. What does it look like on a piece of, this is, it's like parchment paper, but it's actually from Artsy. It's their, tip of my tongue. I don't know what they call it, but it's basically parchment paper, pretty much. So it's just like, like Tim Holtz's kind of, but you can ink it up, do whatever you want. And so I just stamped this one up, and I thought, let's see how it works over our inks. And with this one, when I get to it, I'll let you know what kind of ink it is, and we'll see how it holds up underneath the wax. This is regular paper that has been coffee dyed and avocado dyed, and then some Tim Holtz tissue paper. And then we have this thinner tissue paper that I got in a gift. So let's just try different textures before this gets too hot. Now I have mine all the way to the hottest setting just because it's a small iron. I do have oh my gosh. I do have a mat under here, the rubber mat, but I also have parchment paper on top to keep it safe from the heat. And let's get started already. I might skip around on this. I don't know which one I'm going to do first here. Let's just grab, I just want to do a small bit. Maybe we'll do half the paper and see what it looks like before and after. So let's try it out on this one and this one, and then we'll just pull from the pile. And then we'll do a couple with the parchment paper over the wax to see how that is. Okay, so I'm actually going to tear this in half because I think that's too big. So we'll do this one. we don't need, you know, big pieces here. So let's go ahead and just do a couple. And you want to have something else down because you're going to want to wipe this off. And, you know, let me grab another piece just in case I need to run my craft iron on it. I just want to be safe, obviously. I don't want to put, if I feel like it's getting too hot or dangerous, I'm going to stop because obviously I don't want to put anybody in danger. So let's go ahead and try this out. Alright, so when you're doing this, I'm no expert, like I said, but just from experience, you don't want to put a whole lot on, okay? You don't want to put too much wax in one spot, but then again, you want to make sure you have enough. So you just kind of got to practice. Like right now, I don't know exactly the amount to use. I just practice and see what happens. So I'm just going to put a couple pieces on, because like I said, you don't want it to puddle up and get inside of your iron. But you also don't want it to dry and then make a big clumpy mess. But you can go over it a couple times to thin it out if you need to. I really hope you're going to be able to see this. That's my only worry. But I guess we're doing the best we can here. I hope you can see it. I don't know if I can do much about the light, so... Alright, let's just see what happens. And I'll hold it up to the camera when I'm done. So basically, I am just putting this on, making sure it doesn't spill into my iron. And then once I get it down, I'm just going to rub it all around. Now I like to do different spots on stuff on the papers and leave some parts open usually. Like some parts not waxed and some parts waxed. I think it looks cool. But when I do my glassine bags, obviously I like to do the whole thing. But let's just do this whole side. I have a feeling it's going to take me forever to get this done. And then we'll compare it. So let me just try to get this whole side here. See, it's smoking. See, I'm worried about it. So we'll have to give it little breaks. Now, see, this wax goes on really thick. That's why I said I want to look around for some thinner beeswax, because I don't like it on super thick. But to thin it out, you just run your iron over it a little more, and it'll thin out, and then wipe your iron off. So let's get this on there to fill it in real quick, and then rub it off, fill it in, rub it off. It smells amazing. If you only knew how it smelled. Okay. See, it's hot, but this craft iron doesn't get so hot that I'm worried about it. So right now I'm just going to thin it out, see if we can make sure it's not too thick. See, and then we're going to go on this side and do it a couple times. I don't know if we'll do all these papers because obviously it's taken me a long time to get it where I want it. But even if it's not see-through, it still leaves like a glassine look. This was coffee dyed, remember, so it definitely has coating of stuff on it and dye. It looks pretty darn cool though. Okay, let's let the iron rest for a minute. Alright, oh, it feels so cool, and the smell, it's like amazing. So here we go, and it feels so good. Now I can see my fingers under it, can you? And that's some thick coffee dyed paper. So there you go. You see my fingers? That is so cool. I love it. And that's that side, and that's this side. You can see my fingers under there. Woo, woo, woo. And then this is the other side. So very cool. I love that. Okay, let's try some more. It's the best feeling. It is so fun. I love this. So I don't know how interesting it is to watch, but I'm having fun. Okay, so now we're going to try the Artsy brand of the parchment paper. And this is stamped with, the top stamp is archival. And let me check really quick, because this was part of my little, just to test it out. I don't think it's going to budge, but archival is a pigment ink. And then the bottom part, we have the Stays-On ink, which is a solvent ink. Now, part of my thing that I was going to do, bringing out the stamp and the ink pads, which we might not even get to, is I was going to see what would it look like and what, you know, if we stamped on top of something that had been waxed. Now, if you're thinking, you're probably thinking what I was thinking to begin with. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just stamp under it? Which is what we're going to do. So we're going to try it stamped under. So we're going to, you know, do this on top of the stamp, and then we're going to try it stamping on top with the solvent ink, because the solvent ink is supposed to stamp on any kind of coating, you know. So like the Stays-On ink is supposed to stamp on glass or a coated paper or something, and that's what this is, a coated paper. So we'll just see what it looks like. Really, though, I think that if you're going to stamp, you should probably stamp under. I think that's what we're going to prove here, that it works with either, you know, ink. So, okay, I talk a lot, I know. But I have a method to my madness, you know? That's a lot. Let's just try it. I kind of want to get a move on. Hopefully I'm not living too dangerously here. Woo. Okay. See, I'm trying not to get it into my iron here. I put way too much. Oh boy. Whew. I don't like that big thing underneath. Makes me worry. Okay. So as you can tell, I put way too much wax. I knew it from the start. I don't know why I did it, but maybe I'm just showing you. Yeah, I'm just showing you. See? I'm showing you what happens when you put too much. This happens. It's just too much, and then you got to go over it a couple times to get the remaining wax off, because otherwise it's just too much, and then it doesn't look right. It looks, oops, sticky and, you know, weird. Oh, it looks so cool though with the stamp. I really like that. Let's see if we peel it up. Oh, use so much. So yeah, you definitely want something good underneath. See, it's sticking to this and ripping, so you definitely want parchment paper, I would suggest. But look at that. That is so cool. And if you can tell, I did use a lot. Obviously you saw, but it's kind of sticky. So I would just go over it till you're happy. Just keep melting it off until you have the amount that you want, because that's how you get a good finish doing this. So probably have to get another piece of paper soon, just so it, yeah, it doesn't mess with. I did this way too messy. I'll be more careful from here on out, because this, having all of this wax melted here is not doing me any good. So this is already very see-through, but just if you want to make it even more, I mean, look how glassine that is. Look at that. Woo, woo, woo. And it started out pretty white, so we didn't leave any space, but just to show you, it started out like this, and that's what it turned out with the wax. So that's pretty awesome. If you want, though, you go on the back and you can do the, you know, the wax on both sides. For this case, obviously I don't think it matters, but let's just see if we can get it even more glassy. And it does. Look at that. Oh my gosh. It's literally see-through. It's literally see-through at this point. So I need to give the iron a rest, but oh, it's definitely stuck at this point. Okay, there we go. So I just, oh, yep, see, it's sticking because I'm stupid, and well, I'm not stupid, but I didn't really think about that. So we got to change our paper, but look at that. It is super duper. It was unnecessary, first of all. This thing never wants to stay on the stand. It's the worst. But it definitely was unnecessary to do both sides in this case. You really wouldn't need to do that. So, you know, obviously I just showed you, but if you don't melt it good enough, it will be sticky. However, if you keep melting over it till it gets smooth, it's very soft and smooth. You just have to make sure you don't have any clumps of hard wax on it. You have to melt it smooth. So look at that. That is incredible. Okay, so we spent a minute on that. I guess I can spare some of this wax. I won't feel bad wasting it. But we are going to change really quick, just change our papers, and I won't make that big of a mess because it's causing, sorry about the crinkle, it's causing issues. So let's get a new one really quickly. So I just have dollar store parchment paper. Whoa. Oh, fun fact. Let me tell you guys this. And this goes for saran wrap or foil, whatever parchment paper. I didn't know this till recently, but if you poke the sides, there's always a little thing that you can poke in on the side like this. Or let me get a pencil. And that prevents, see how it pokes in there? And then we're going to do it to this side, which I forgot to do it to begin with. And that prevents your parchment paper from coming out. Some of you might have already known that, but I didn't know that till recently. So, thank you, Brittany from YouTube, where I learned that from the other day. Fun fact. Okay, so we're going to do a couple more here. Oh, it's so loud, I'm sorry. Didn't plan on that part. Oh my goodness, come on. Okay, we should be good. Thank you for bearing through that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get another piece. Now, I'm anxious to see like just some regular copy paper. Maybe we'll use the Medieval Mirage on inkjet, with inkjet ink on regular old run-of-the-mill copy paper, and then we'll skip over to the really thick one. This is the thickest one I have here, and that's that Epson presentation paper, double-sided, with it does have the inkjet. All of the printed ones are going to have inkjet because that's what I have. So I'm just going to sprinkle some of this on here. Maybe I won't take it all out. This time I'm not going to put as much. Okay. Alright, let's just try a little bit at a time. Maybe spread it out. It'll probably do you good to take your time. You don't have to, but that's what I do a better job when I focus in and I'm not trying to rush and then getting it everywhere. It's, you can always reheat it if it gets cold, and it's just gonna, if it gets hard on you, all you have to do is put the iron back on. So then we can try it the other way, which is through the parchment paper, which just gives it a barrier for the heat. And we can try it with the heat gun. But that kind of for some reason, it doesn't make me nervous to put the iron on it, but it does make me nervous to put the heat gun on it, because I know how hot that heat gun gets. Just have to use extreme caution. This little iron gets hot enough to melt it, but not so hot that it's, super crazy, like hundreds and hundreds of degrees. I don't think it is that hot, but I mean, it's still hot, don't get me wrong, but just not as hot as that heat gun, I don't think. So, oh, that is so cool. It's copy paper, and I'm going to let that cool off for just a second, just to be safe, and then we'll do, this is the thick paper. Now, I didn't expect much from this at all, so, because it's so thick, but I'll be impressed if we can get it a little glassine. So let's see what happens. It's going to take a couple layers, I'm sure, a couple times going over it. It's so thick, and it's meant to be, inked, and it's meant for a presentation. So, oh, look at that. It's starting to see through. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, this is really something. like I said, I'm a nerd. It just interests me so much. I get excited over paper. I'm a paper lover. I really am. Can you tell? I love, a couple things excite me, and coffee dyeing and avocado dyeing is one of them. And playing with beeswax and the smell that it's like nothing smells like melted beeswax, nothing, except honey. It reminds me of honey, and I love honey. I have tons of honey in my tea. Thank you, bees. One day I'll do a bee journal, because I love bees. Alright. Uh-oh, it's getting on my mat. Okay. You know, there was something else I want to tell you guys. I wanted to read something to you. If you stick around, by the way, thanks for coming and seeing me today. Thanks for hanging out. You know, I hope that you're doing some art right now. If you have some beeswax, try it out with me. If you don't and you have a candle, you can do that too. And if you want to see a video on someone using a candle for this exact technique, I'll leave her video below, the Firefly Studios. So I'll leave that video below. I'll leave one, if I remember, from Miss Lori, Girl on the Ridge. I always almost say Girl on the Edge. But yeah, I probably went over that 1,000 times. Oops. So we'll do, I'll leave those videos below. And then I think Bohemian Crafting, if you've ever seen her channel, she's amazing. I'll leave her channel too, because I think she did this technique. I believe she did. I don't think it's with this, like, beeswax. I think she used some other kind of wax and another technique, but I can't remember. It's been a while, but I'll find the video and I'll leave that one too, because you know I love to show other people's, and chances are you probably, if you're watching me, you probably already saw them first, to be honest. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not usually people's first choice in videos. Plus, I'm like a little late on this whole technique. People have been doing this for a long time, like I said. I've seen lots of videos, and they're all so good. And everybody gets a different, usually the same end result, but I haven't seen the testing of all different kinds of papers. I've only seen the Glassine bags, and then the one, like, Lori does the embellishments and does it on with her little ephemera pieces, like I love doing. And yeah, so anyways, I don't know where else I'm getting at, but see, this is really hard to get through. This one, I'm doing multiple layers, which worries me because I don't want it to get too hot. It doesn't feel that hot. I just touched it. So let's do this side. I'm just going back and forth, one side then the other, because when you do that, you're getting both sides, and that, you know, the more effect you get when you do both sides. Look at that. Just be careful if you're melting it off the edge like I just did, which we're going to have to change the paper eventually, that you pick it up so it doesn't stick and rip. So let me just let this air off for a second before we have a fire. Let it air off for a second. Air out. But see, yeah, it is definitely getting there. It's taken, what, like 4? Oh my gosh, that looks awesome in person. I don't know how it's showing up on camera, but it looks awesome. The white paper, and it feels incredible. Oh my gosh, I never thought it would be like that. How interesting. Of course, watching it on the video is going to be different than in person. I totally want, can't urge you enough to try this. It is so fun. Yeah, and you can get little craft irons. The one Gail has, I think hers, on her Gail's favorite things list, doesn't have little holes in it, if I remember right, I think. Because I think she did the same technique. And I know Lori uses an iron without holes, too. So if you're looking for a better craft iron than this one, they have really good ones in there. I know Gail has a list. I don't know if Lori does, but I'm sure you can find it on their pages or on their YouTube, what kind of iron they use. And I did want the one Gail has. I can't remember what it's called, but I looked it up and I was like, oh, I want to get me one of those. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Finally. See how I just kept going over it and over it and over it. Now we're going to let our iron rest for just a minute. And look at this. It's nice. Oops, it's nice and thin. This is going to fall. Put a stopper there. There. It's nice and smooth. Ooh, it's very hot. Oh, I got my table really hot. Guess it's a lot hotter than I thought. I forgot I have a rubbery mat back there. I couldn't think of what it was called, of course. Look at that, you guys. If you could feel this, it's like, it's almost like a plastic, but it's like silky. It feels exactly like plastic. Thick, durable, plasticky, silky. Oh my gosh, this is my new favorite. Okay, let me see if you can get up here. Can you see that? How it's see-through, but it's also very thick. Wow. Let me show you a piece before. If I can find another white piece. I don't have another white piece. Next to me anyways. But it is this really, listen, very thick. That's how white it was. There we go. And that's what it looks like now. Isn't that awesome? You can see my fingers under this one a little, but not under this one at all. And it's not like the most glassine thing. I think if I kept going over it, it would probably work. But it is just enough to be awesome. And I wonder if you could still write on that or stamp on it. Oh, we can test that out. And it smells like heaven. Oh, there you go. That can show you how glassine it is. See the white paper behind it? Very cool. I love it. Okay. And then this is the regular paper, which I didn't melt at all on the back. Let me just go over it one more time. Okay. And this is the regular run-of-the-mill why can't I say copy paper? I keep saying coffee paper. Just a really cheap copy paper. 24-pound or something like that. And this is white paper behind it to show you its transparency. So there you go. Can you see? Okay. That's what it looks like behind. So it started out as this one on the left, and now it looks like this one on the right. And that's a white piece of paper behind it, so it's very see-through. And then this one, we did not do this one. This is original, so let's see. You can't see behind it at all, because it's just white copy paper. See? You can't see anything behind it. And then this one, you can definitely see that on both sides. Very awesome. So, I mean, wow, look at the back of the same piece. I'm so impressed. Oh, and if you could just feel how smooth. Once you melt it evenly, it's just a really smooth, like, it doesn't mess with the integrity of the paper. Like, it's still thick, it's still, you know, like, it has that crinkle factor now, but a smoothness to it. I just can't get enough of it. Okay, let's try this. Oh, that smells bad. Making me nervous. Now, I don't want to do this all night because it's going to have an automatic shut off anyway soon. So let's get to it. Let's try the tissue paper here, the thicker one, and then let's try the regular book page, and then we'll do one of these. This is scrapbooking paper. I'm interested in seeing this one. So let's do these. Okay, first we'll do the book page, and actually I'm more interested in seeing these. So let's try, this is just scrapbook paper. It's like a Walmart brand. I had it for a couple years. Haven't really used it, so let's just use one of those. And then this is, like I said, what is this? Book page from, it's an old Reader's Digest book. So let's go ahead and do these, and then we will try the technique maybe with the parchment paper over it. Now let's see, I wonder if I'm going to do half of, let's do half and half. That's too much to start out with. And it's, as you can tell, you can keep adding to it. It's not a problem, but you just don't want to use too much at one time, basically. I mean, you could do as many layers as it takes, as many as you want, which is fine, but you should probably do thin layers to begin with. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. If you do too much at once, it just is a big mess, and then you have to take some off with the heat. So if you just start out with just a little, you know, not too much, then you're better off, because you can always add. It's easier to add. It's always a little bit more of a pain to take it away if, you know, some things are impossible to take away. Fortunately, with the waxing, with the encaustic, you can take it away. You just keep heating it. But not full. You can't take it away. You can take some out or off. You can't take it all away, but you can take some off by just melting it and then scraping it with the iron. Hopefully that made sense. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. It is 3 in the morning, by the way. You know, my house just is not quiet with everybody here, and I just cannot. I filmed a video the other day. I haven't put it out yet because I don't know if I really like it, but I haven't had very much confidence lately, and I don't know if it's because of everything going on, but I keep finding everything wrong with my videos, and you all know I get criticized a lot, and usually I can take it just fine, but I feel like I'm just sensitive right now, and I don't want to hear it. I don't want people to be like, you need to chill out, you need to stop doing this and stop doing that, and I don't want to hear it. I don't care, I just don't want to hear it. So maybe I do care a little bit, not a lot. It doesn't really affect me too much, but it's just annoying. And I really pride myself, you know, keeping my cool to people, and I want to keep it that way. I think with everything going on, it's like, oh, I don't want to be so stressed that I tell somebody off or something, because that would be horrible. So, you know what I'm saying. Kind of, geez, we're in strange times, I'll tell you that. I do want to read something at the end. Did I tell you guys that? I can't remember. If you want to stick around, let me see what time it is. We won't do this much longer. I'm going to read something at the end of the video if you want to stick around and hear it. It's something very important to me. It's just very short and something a 13-year-old boy wrote. And I think it might touch your heart. It does mine. It touches my heart. I think it's important. I think it'll remind us all that everybody has feelings, and okay, we'll talk about it then. But, ooh, that's cool. Now we're going to do the other side. Let's let that one cool, and we'll do the book page real quick. And I'm going to move down here. Hopefully you guys can see. Let me move you a little bit. There we go, just a little. That way I can move to a different part of the mat because it's getting hot right there underneath. So, ooh, book page is going to look cool. I have a feeling. I have a feeling that the book page is going to look cool. Okay. Ooh, see, I took the rest of the wax. Look at all that wax. Can you see the shine? That was on my iron from this book page. I put so much wax on this little book page unnecessarily, and I can move it over and reuse it onto this one. So sometimes if you think you might be heavy-handed like me, it might be good to have 2 pieces of paper that you want to do this to out. And that way, if you do have a lot of wax melting on your iron, you can switch it over to the other paper and not waste it. Like, see, I got some on my iron. I'm going to bring it over here to this one. And now we're sharing. So that was a good bit of information, I think. Now, I have too much on this, so I'm going to scrape some off. Oh, I put way too much. And I don't even think this one needs any more, so I'm going to stop on this one as well and just wipe some off. Wipe some off. And then I hope I didn't stick this too much. Yeah, I should have turned it over a minute ago. There we go. Let's do a little bit on this side. Just one little pebble I have down, and look how much one little pebble covered this whole entire piece. Can you believe that? One little pebble of wax. That's how much a little goes a long way. So I definitely have been using way too much, and that's why I have this big mess everywhere and why I keep having to take it off. So please learn from me. If you've pebbles, I'm calling them pebbles, this size of wax, you don't need that much at all. It's just a waste, and it's a pain, to be honest. Oh, jeez. Okay, I'm getting crazy. I've been going over the same spot forever. It's just, if you could see it in person, you could tell it's too thick. And when it's too thick, it doesn't look see-through-y. It looks like you have a glob of something on top of your paper, which does not look cute. It really doesn't. You have to thin it out before it looks good. If it's on there thick, it does not look good. It looks like a cloudy, like, little substance that doesn't look good. It looks kind of gross, actually. So once you thin it out, though, and it dries, let's give our little guy a break. Once you thin it out and it gets smooth, there we go, then it's nice. Is that smooth? I probably could have went over it with the iron a little more because it's actually a little thick, but it's pretty cool. You can see right through that. Wow. Let's do our white paper behind it. See how thin we got this one, or how transparent rather. See, it's on the right. Very cool. And then the other side. So I think it's important to do both sides if you're going for that transparent look. I think it looks so good. Remember how dark that book page was? This is what it looked like, that really dark aged page. And now, see, you can't see through it, and now you can. See? Cool. So the before and after is pretty incredible. And then I'm excited about this one. Now, I should have lifted it. I don't know why I didn't. It did stick a little. Let's just go over it because it's messed up. Just for a sec. Just to smooth it out, which probably isn't a bad idea anyways because it's on there thick. Way thick. You want to lift it up before it cools off, otherwise it will stick and then leave lines through it. I'm sure you probably know that or could guess that at this point, but just in case. Oops, you're like me and you're busy talking too much. What time are we? We're already almost an hour. OMG. I'm in love. Look at that. And if I keep going over it with the iron, I can get it even thinner. It's definitely like tissue paper. Oh, it's so pretty. Look at that. Okay. My iron's getting mad, so we should stop. Let's try one piece of like thinner paper, because we already did that. Well, we didn't do a glassine bag. I guess we could do the glassine bag. Let's just do like half of one. But I am going to cut it. I can use one side as a pocket. And then, yeah, we'll just do this. That's all I'm going to use to start out. And even that is probably too much. Like I said, I only needed one pebble to cover the book page, so. But I usually use a lot for the glassine bags because I like it really transparent if I'm going to do this. So, yeah, it's way too much. Silly girl. Don't even take my own advice. Does anybody else do that? Preach one thing and then go, why didn't I listen to myself? I'll tell you why, because I love that smell. The more I put on, the more it smells good. Then I'm just going to take it while it's wet and do this side so that it gets extra see-through. Put a little piece on there. That's a big piece. Oh, okay. It gets a little bit addicting for me. I love it so much. It's just a really fun thing. I love textures and things like that. I've always loved, that's why I love the oxides. I love using water. I love using heat. In this case, I love using the wax. I love using the heat to transform it into something else. And it's just transformation to me in all aspects of life. They're just my thing. I love it. How deep was that? Boom. Okay. So, and we could stop after this. I'm just getting some of that wax off in case you're wondering why she's still going over it 1,000 times. Because I put too much on, gotta scrape some off. And I just like go when there's not like puddles of wax or any of the big chips like that. Once it's all melted but it's too thick, I will go in like from the corner and just scrape some of the wax that's on there off with the heat. And that's what makes it nice and smooth and even, and it doesn't leave big gobs of like this, if you can see that, because that's what it will look like if you don't even it out on your paper. And it doesn't take long for, once it's peeled up, for it to cool off. Be careful with your bags as well too. Oh, I hate this cord. Oh my gosh, everything's a train wreck. Hold on. Sorry. There. Be sure to, what am I saying? Oh, if you're using a bag here, if you're doing a glassine bag, make sure you keep sticking. See, if you don't stick something in it while it's wet, it might stick together and rip. So while it's still kind of melting, you might want to put something in there like a bone folder and kind of pry it open and let it dry open that way. But look at that nice glassine bag. And let me show you before with the white one. This is how it looked. It was a baker's bag, and now it's a glassine baker's bag. So isn't that cool? You can see the difference. I have a huge glare, but hopefully you can see. So we got like less than 8 minutes. So let me just show you. We didn't get them all done, but we have this. Oh my gosh. This is probably my favorite one, just the way it feels. And then we have, well, you've seen them all. The copy paper, which is great. That's the before. And then this one is probably, oh, I thought this one was my favorite too. That really thick paper from the Epson, that's the Epson double-sided presentation paper. It's a copy paper, but it's amazing. Really good paper. And it took us a lot of different layers for this in between. Like I had to keep layering it, but we got there because it's really thick, but it is amazing and it feels so good. I wonder if I could stamp on it, but I don't want to ruin this. And then this is an old book page, which feels amazing. The crinkle factor is unreal. And that's all we did that whole entire time. Holy cow. What if we did it on wax paper? Let's do just a couple more. Just a couple more. What happens if we do it on the napkin? Oh, we didn't do the other technique. Hello, I'm losing my mind. It's like 4 a.m. Okay. Let's try... What are we going to do? Quickly, Meg. I want to do the napkin, but I'm afraid to. Let's try the napkin. And let's do I'm going to do the double layer just in case, just to see. I don't know why. I just feel like I should. And I'm going to layer this on top. Uh-oh, there's paper in here. Nope, we're just going to get a new piece. We're going to sandwich the napkin. Now, I've never done this, so let's just see what happens. We're going to put some on here. And then we're just going to put the parchment paper on top and then melt it and see what happens. See if I like it better using the iron right on. And this is a good technique if you have holes in your iron. You're going to have to cover it with something, which I would recommend be parchment paper. Obviously, I don't know what else you could cover it with. You obviously don't want to use a towel or something silly like that. So I'm going to put the parchment paper on top and we're going to melt it that way. But I'm scared it's going to stick to the parchment paper, so I don't know. I guess you could, I don't know. I saw the Firefly Studio do this. I don't know. I didn't, oh crap. I didn't watch it very long, so I probably should have watched her longer. I was in a hurry at the time. I'm probably going to go back and watch the video again, and I'll link it below so you can check it out in case I'm totally missing something here. I don't want to misrepresent her because I said, you know, the YouTube video, but it's something like this, so. Okay. Oh, cool. So I need a little more. That's actually pretty good. It works out pretty good. I like that. I'm using much more wax because it seems to like disappear more. Maybe it's because of the thick napkin. I don't know. This is weird. It's a lot different. It's a lot different. I feel like I have a little bit less control over being able to push the wax around. But that could be, oops, that could be in my head. I just can't really see it, so. Okay. It does melt slower, so that's actually kind of works in your favor a little bit. Or, well, I don't know if it does or not. I just said that for some reason. Funny. Okay, so. I feel like I use a lot, oops, I feel like I use a lot more wax this way for some reason. Wow, whoa, it's like glass. Holy mackerel. Okay, get it before it melts. Or before it sticks, rather. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. It's so awesome. It's not done, but oh my gosh. The napkin is amazing. I totally think that you should take the layer off, though, before, obviously, you... Yeah, it's definitely okay to take the layer of napkin off before you do it. It's not going to work if you take it off after. So I just was scared that it was going to disintegrate or something, but it's not. So let's, really quick, let's do that. This is the 1-ply. So I took the 2-ply off of the back of the napkin. So let's just do it like that. So for the napkin, I think the best, oh my gosh, my iron won't stay standing up. I think the best way to do it probably is with the tissue paper over. It's a little different for me. I don't know why it's hard, but it's a little bit different because you have to wait for the heat to actually transfer to the napkin instead of being directly melting already. I think, let's see what it's like without on this side. See how it melts just right away? But then you're risking it getting to your iron. It's crumbling. So actually, it is much safer, and it works really good using the parchment on top. I do think that is a smart idea. I think it might be safer. I don't know. I don't know about that. Don't, quote me. But it seems like it is. Could be wrong. Could be way wrong. Maybe it doesn't make a difference. I keep stabbing it because my iron's pointy and it's smoking a lot more, but ooh, it's going through the paper. Okay. Or maybe it was already on my iron. I don't know. That's weird. Maybe I made a hole. I don't know. Or maybe it's just glassine and it looks like, oh no, it is going through because it's wet. I wonder what happened. I don't know if it just melts through. Oh yeah, duh. Oh my god, that was probably the most blonde moment I've ever had. I'm like, why is it going through the paper? That's the whole thing that we're doing, Meg. We're making it go through the paper. That was stupid. Okay, so now let's peel this. Look at this. It's the most glassine thing in the entire universe. I'm literally holding glass. Did you know? Look at that. Look at that. Look at those results. They're the best glassine results I've ever gotten. What do you think? Pretty rad. Pretty rad, if I might say so myself. Okay, guys. That was awesome. We're an hour in. There was so much more I wanted to do. Maybe I'll make a part 2. Maybe I will. And if I do make a part 2, maybe we'll stamp on it. See what happens. Oh, I thought it was going to fall. See what happens. So we're going to end up going over because I want to read something really quick. I think that's awesome, though. Look at those results. So if you want to stick around, if not, I'll say my goodbyes now, and then I'm going to read something really quick. If you want to stick around and hear me out, that would be awesome. If not, I'll see you in the next one, and thank you so much for stopping by. If you thought this was cool at all, could you do me a favor? Leave me a nice comment or a positive comment. Doesn't have to be like, complimenting me. Just leave something cool. Say something cool and nice, encouraging to anybody. And let me know what you're working on and what you're doing to stay busy and how you're coping. I'd love to just connect. That's what this is all about. And just really, I just want to send a positive message, and I really appreciate you being here. You are helping me through this, and art is my therapy, as you know, hence the name. And I just want to spread art and spread the love and craft and just really have an escape that is healthy. And I want you to join me, and that's what this is all about. So thank you for joining me today. If you can do the thumbs up, I'd be cool with that. If not, a positive message would be awesome. Or, just you watching is enough for me. I'm totally cool with that too. Thank you for being here. And so what I wanted to read, and I'll show you these again while we're talking. What I wanted to read is something from a 13-year-old boy who was asked by his parents. Okay, so Lincoln Park, where we live, a lot of the schools right now are doing they do online school because the schools are shut down. And our district hadn't done it until like yesterday. We got our first call from the principal and then a couple of the teachers. But it must have taken them a while to get things sorted out because obviously this kind of just happened. So we didn't have online classes for our son that's in middle school. He's in 8th grade. And we didn't have any of that stuff set up yet. So he's basically started out just playing video games and watching movies and stuff. And we decided as parents, well, listen, we're not going to sit around and wait for them. So I wasn't going to say it was my son, but I already started saying it's him, didn't I? Okay, yes, I'm talking about my son, but his friends don't watch, so he should be fine. So anyways, we decided that we were going to give him some prompts. So my husband's cool. He went online. I said my husband's cool. My husband was cool and went online and found some prompts. I am so sorry, guys. It's like 4 a.m. and I can't talk. I'm losing my voice. So he found some prompts and had my son do a couple things, gave him a book. We always have him reading a book, and started out with some algebra papers, just 1 or 2 a day, and then gave him some prompts, so something to write. So he did like a book report, answered the questions that we printed out for him. And so he's reading, let me find the paper. I wanted to read this to you. It's going to make sense in a minute. So he's reading The Outsiders, right? That's the book we picked out for him. If you haven't read that book, where have you been? But anyways, it's like one of my favorites. He's reading about Pony Boy, so we had him do a little report on that. But this is what really got me, and the reason I'm sharing this with you guys is because if you have kids, and even if you don't, this goes for other people in your family. It could mean your mother that you are not living with, that's older and alone. It could mean your sister who has depression and doesn't live with you that you need to check in with. It could mean your 13-year-old son that has a basement or has a bedroom downstairs. You don't see a lot of them, and in passing you say, "Hey, how you doing with all this? Is everything okay? How are you feeling?" He's like, "Yeah, of course, Mom, I'm fine. It's not even it's nothing. I'm not in school. I'm playing games. It's not a big deal." Oh, okay. Sometimes that isn't the truth. Sometimes our kids, and I think not even sometimes, I think it's a fact that our kids, no matter what age, are feeling this, and that we need to make a point to sit down and say to them, this is my opinion, of course, talk to me. Talk to me. Let me know how you're feeling. And do not take, "Oh, I'm fine. I don't want to talk. Oh, this is annoying." Don't take that as an answer. Literally, just say, "I don't care what it is, but you're going to talk to me for 5 minutes. I need to know how you're feeling." And just try to get things out, however that looks like for you and your family. I don't know if those are the words you choose. It probably isn't what I would say, but my point is, the first question in this little report that he had to answer was something like, how can you connect with the main character? How have, name a time in your life you went through something that was hard. Something to that effect. And this is what he wrote. One unforgettable experience I'm having. One unforgettable experience I'm actually having right now. It's the quarantine. I've never experienced this in my life or anything like it. While I like having a break from school, I wouldn't mind being there right now. I really miss my friends. I miss my friends there. I'm also just getting sick and tired of sitting in the house all day, not being able to see anybody else, and not going out like we used to. The challenge that this quarantine has made for me is the change of my daily routine. I used to wake up, go to school, come home, do stuff, and then go to sleep by 11 or 12. Now I'm waking up super late, I'm doing nothing, then I'm having trouble sleeping at night. I have tried to adjust this new routine to fit my old one, but nothing's even working. It isn't that big of a deal, I guess, but it has been bothering me a lot, which is kind of a conundrum. Oh, no, that doesn't say a lot. I'm sorry. It isn't, okay, let me say that again. It isn't that big of a deal, I guess, but it has been bothering me. Another problem I've been enduring is not being able to see my friends. I feel like some of us won't be as close. I can barely read his writing, I'm sorry. I fear that some of us won't be as close as we used to be. I miss going to their houses. I miss having fun with them and staying up all night on the weekends with them. Some of them have video games, so we can still connect, but it just is not the same online. ... And then he says that, like, how he coincides that with the book. It says, the next line is, one of the first and maybe most important things about Ponyboy is that Ponyboy learns that life isn't always fair. And that's how it relates to my issue. Okay, I know I'm not the best reader and it was hard to read his writing, but those are not it's not the end of the world. A lot of people's problems are way worse than just a routine changing. But the fact of the matter, the point I'm trying to get to is that our kids are feeling this. This is obviously bothering him. I didn't know that until I read the paper. Because when I tried to ask him, I didn't invest the time into talking to him about it. I just, like a mom does with their teenagers a lot of the time. Like, hey, are you cool? Is everything okay? Most of the time, they're going to be like, yeah, I'm fine. Most of the time, teenagers don't sit down and go, no, Mom, I really want to talk. If your teenager's like that, then God bless you. Most of the time, you got to dig it out of them. And I wish that I would have dug it out of him. Tonight, I did end up sitting down and talking to him. And tomorrow, we're going to talk about it. And the next day, we're going to talk about it. And it doesn't have to be about what's going on, but start out with what's going on. What's bothering you? You can tell me whatever it is that you have to say. The point is, please don't forget about your kids. You may be out of a job, which is crazy right now. You may be worrying about your next meal. That means your kids are feeling it. They know, no matter how much you try to shield this from them, they are going through it too. So please be there for them. That's it. I just felt like I had to share that. I don't know if I'm going to keep it in the video or not. I might sound stupid, but like, wow, you really made that dramatic. But it's dramatic to me because I'm a mom and I'm hearing the hurt in my son's voice, a son who doesn't complain ever. That may not seem like a huge deal to a lot of people, but that coming out of my son's mouth is a gigantic deal because this kid doesn't complain about anything. He is so easy. He's gone through rough times and just, it's not a big deal to him. He gets through it because he's really tough. So it just proves that it does wear on them. That's all I'm saying. So anyways, I know I'm not the therapist here. I always say it's art therapy for me. I'm not trying to be the therapist, and I'm not. I just wanted to share that. I hope that you guys can relate in some way, in a good way, that I hope that what I mean by relate is that I hope that you kind of get where I'm coming from, and if anybody needs to talk, have like a pen pal or something, you're feeling really alone, my email's totally open. Obviously, I'm not going to be sending letters, but totally will. If you need to chat, I'll give you my email down below. Just whatever. I just want everybody to be there for each other, and I'm definitely here for you guys, and I appreciate you, and I love you so much. And thank you for sticking around 10 minutes after the fact again, for whoever did, and for kind of bearing with me as I skipped my way through it. It wasn't easy, but I didn't even plan that. I just kind of knew I wanted to read that since the moment I read it earlier, and I just hope that I didn't sound stupid or like over dramatic. I'm not trying to over dramatize anything. I'm really not. I just felt like something was telling me to share it. Maybe it's just going to resonate even with one person, and maybe somebody needed to hear it. I don't really know, but maybe I just needed to get it out to remind myself. Maybe I just needed that to remind myself to be more open with my children. So thank you so much, and I hope everybody has a blessed day today. I hope you're rested and that you wake up happy and optimistic, and that you cope in an amazing way and get some fresh air. It really does some good. Make some art. Love you guys. Bye.